This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to another session on cloud computing. I hope everyone has got the account created. Is there anyone who has not got the account created or having any issues with this account creation? Can you please let me know? Or everyone has the account created? Who all have can they write in the chat window? Yes, yes, no, something like that. Any update so that I would know how many of us have the account. Okay, good to know, Rafiq. How about others? Perfect. Good to know, Sunil. Yeah. Yes. Good. Sure, Anand. I want everyone to write something. Update me about the account status. So I got the four update from Rafiq, Sunil, Harshan, and Anand. Welcome. I will do it. Perfect. Welcome. Sure. Yes, it's a straightforward process. Not good to know, Venkatesh. Yes, please do it today. Yeah, and we get in the weekend as well because we're gonna practice everything. It's always good that you have this account created. Okay, because if you do not practice, there is no point. You will not learn like others, like everyone. Because we need to practice, and it's a straightforward process that we need to just sign up. We need to give our credit card details, and they would not charge anything. And we will do a budget setup first, so that even if you are getting charged after a few months of learning, you'll be notified. Okay, so we'll take care of proper budgeting thing as well. Okay, so I'll come to this account. Okay, I'll let me start with few basics today first. Uh, in AWS, we have something called region. Okay, AWS region we call it. So region, when I say region, so you guys all understand the meaning of a data center, right? A bigger infrastructure. So I'm showing you three data centers here. Okay, three data centers, one, two, and three. Okay, so you understand that what do we mean by data center? That's uh, an infrastructure where all the servers are hosted and all those cooling mechanism and so big infrastructure. Okay, so that's what we mean by a data center. So when I combine two to three data centers, okay, when I combine two to three data centers, that forms a region. Okay, so minimum of two data centers is required to qualify as a region. Okay, and AWS has a lot of regions. Okay, and in one region they have minimum of two data centers. Generally, they have three data centers. Okay, even these data centers are separated from each other from like 300 kilometers to 200 miles, 300 miles. They are separated from each other. These infrastructure, these three infrastructures, and they are connected using a very high connectivity, low bandwidth, ultra high bandwidth, low latency network, high bandwidth, ultra high bandwidth, low latency network. These data centers are connected because what is the intention that I have I should have the option of deploying my servers in multiple data centers. Okay, I can have my one server here in one of the data centers, and I can have my another server here for high availability. So even if one of the servers goes down, suppose this data center is not functional for some region, first of all, that will not happen. That will be taken care. I can have multiple instances, multiple servers in this data center itself. Okay. But in case if suppose this data center is not working, but I know that I have my another server deployed in provision in this data center as well. So my request can be served by this data center. So ultra high bandwidth and low latency. These data centers are connected with each other, and then we call that as one region. If I have to show you how it, where can we find? So currently I have logged in as the root account. When you first get the AWS account uh, activated, you log in as a root user. Okay, that's the root user you see here. Uh, that's I am connected currently. Okay, and whatever you see here, that's all your regions. Okay, you can count here that we have so many regions in US East Ohio, US West, Africa, Asia Pacific, and Hong Kong, Mumbai, Osaka, Seoul, Singapore, Sydney, Tokyo, Canada Central, and so they have so many regions here. It's AWS region, and in one region they have multiple data centers. Minimum of generally they have minimum of two, maximum of six. Generally they have three data centers generally. Even they have, I know few regions where they have six data centers. It all depends on the customer base, okay, and all those things, okay. But minimum of two data centers is required to qualify as a region. Maximum of six they have it, okay. So that's the
అక్కడ యూకే పిన్నులు లేవండి దానికి.
let me some okay. Okay, so that's about the region. uh, we don't call data center, okay. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just getting you acquainted with few standard names, nomenclatures that AWS uses, okay. uh, Region you understood now, but we don't call data center, okay. We call AZ, availability zone, okay. So we don't call data center. So what we say, this region has three AZs. That's what we call availability zone. Each region has many availability zones, usually three, minimum two, max six. That's what I told. Examples are this could be the names of three AZs, 2A, 2B, 2C. Each availability zone is one or more discrete data centers. That is the case. In one AZ itself, there could be one or more data centers, but usually they have one. In one AG, they have one data center usually. But by definition, if you look at the AZ definition, one AZ is one or more discrete data centers with redundant power, networking, and connectivity. So they have made sure that within the data center itself, within the AZ as well, they have redundant power, networking, and connectivity. So even if one of the power lines goes down, it can be taken care by other power lines. So they have multiple power sources, networking as well, okay, and connectivity as well. So they have this redundant mechanism as well. Okay, within one AZ itself, I'm talking. And each AZs and within the AZ, within a region, AZs are separate from each other so that they are isolated from disasters, as I mentioned, right? So in this particular diagram slide, I'm showing you that I have three AZs, AP, Southeast 2A, 2B, and 2C, and they are this forms one region, and there are three data centers here. Three AZs, I would say, not data centers. I would call AZs. Okay. Just to make you guys comfortable with this AZ term, so think of AZ as a data center. That's what just for a comfort, just for the understanding's sake. But know that one AZ can have one or more data centers as well. Okay, so that's the few definition I'm talking to. I just talked about a region. Two things I just talked. I talked about a region. A region can have minimum of 2 AZs, maximum of 6 AZs. If we have 2 AZs uh, and max of 6 AZ, that forms a region. And I just showed you that where can you find the region? You can find the region here. If you just when you log in as the root account, and if you just click on this guy here, you will see all the regions available, and you can select any of these regions. Okay, and then you can start creating your instance. You can start provisioning. We call it provisioning is the word that we use. We don't use the word create, we use the word provision. So we can start provisioning the resources, okay, in any of these regions. Okay. And then we have AZs. Think of AZ as a data center. I have told you, but know that one AZ can have one or more discrete data centers, and they are separate from each other so that they're isolated from disasters. So if there is a disaster in one AZ, disaster should not be there, should not be there with the other AZ. So that's why that's the reason they are separated from each other, and they are connected using high bandwidth, ultra low latency network. Because you need to make sure that high availability sake, you need your instances to be deployed in multiple AZs as well. So if one AZ is not working, so you'd not feel that there is a performance lag or anything. So just know there could be a case where I need to copy a few things from here to here. I need to set up, I can have multiple databases. I can have one database here, one database here, and suppose 2 node rack I'm working on. Uh, and I need to get things copied using data guard. So just know that the AZs don't I'm not going to complicate things. Just make sure that these AZs are connected using high bandwidth and ultra low latency, so that I get a better performance. I should not get, so basically I would like to treat these AZs as one. I should not be any performance lag if I deploy my application at multiple AZs. I should not get any performance lag. So whether I have all my instances in one AZ or in multiple AZs, I should not get any performance difference. That's the main idea. Okay, and that is why they're connected using high bandwidth and ultra low latency. Okay, so these are the two terms I just told you about. If you look at this URL, okay, they have maintained this in a graphical way. I'm going to take you to this URL, and you're gonna like it because the way they have uh, maintained it. It's graphical representation. It's there in the slide. So what you see here, you okay? Are we not clicking that URL? I wanted to. Okay. Okay. See here. The blue dots, the orange ones are called regions here. Okay. And you can find that difference here, the definitions, regions, availability zones. There are other things as well. I'm going to talk about it. I wanted to show you something in the graphical representation way. So they have 25 launch regions as of now, as we speak. Okay, where is the graphical representation? Did they remove it? I wanted to show you like this. That's fine. I can show you, but where is this? I'm not hitting the right URL. Mhm. Okay, looks like they have. changed one URL. It's redirecting to another URL. I was looking for a graphical representation of something, and it looks like they have changed this URL. Okay. Okay. So in this particular diagram, what you see here, uh, okay, these blue ones are called regions. Okay, you can select this, and these are called regions. Okay, launched 2020 Cape Town, and you can just see that number of availability zones, 3, right? It's in Sydney, launched in 2012, availability zones and 3, and the orange ones are coming soon. So they have plans also in of launching regions in uh, some more new regions as well. They have the plans. It's in Singapore, and they have the plan to launch a region in Jakarta as well, and the list goes on. Okay, so you can just get a feel of this thing. AWS has 80 availability zones, okay, currently 80, across 25 geographical regions. So 25 geographical regions. So you can just see where all the regions are located. So depending on your customer base, you can select, create your instances in near to your maximum customer base. That's what you can do, so that the customers get your customers get the best of performance. Okay. You can just see mostly it's 3 AZs. Okay, I'm seeing mostly 3, but here in Tokyo they have 4. Okay. 4 availability zones as well. In you can just see here. Uh, I know there are a few regions where they have 6. Uh, see, I told you. See, I knew one region. This region, yeah, North Virginia. This region has 6 availability zones. Okay. There's something called local zones and wavelength zones as well. I'm going to talk about it. But and you can just read about these things. I'm going to put this in the chat window. Okay. You can just see this. I wanted to show they have just removed this graphical representation. Mm. And you can just see here they have 25 launch regions, 80 availability zones. There are something called local zones and wavelength zones. I'll talk about that, but just know there are 230 points of presence. I'm going to talk about that. They are edge look 218 plus edge locations and 12 regional edge caches. I'll talk about it. But just to focus on these two things as of now, because we know about these two things, regions and AZs. So they have 25 regions and 80 availability zones. 245 countries and territories served. So they have taken care of these many countries. Yeah, and you can just see the list here. So, yeah, yeah, where is that? Mhm. Okay. Okay, they are divided into 3 categories: South America, Europe, and Asia Pacific. Okay, that's fine now. Let me continue. To my surprise, they have removed this. I wanted to, they used to have this earlier. They have removed this. It's redirected to this particular link. They have changed that. Global infrastructure. Yeah, that's fine. It was just a graphical representation. Okay, so let's come to our topic. So you guys understood this is something called, so this they used to have something like this infrastructure. I used to click on these regions and it used to take me to that region and used to show how many. It was a graphical nice representation. I'm going to find this link. Maybe I can find this link in somewhere else. And then I used to see regions, ability zones, and sorry, points of presence and all those things. Okay. And then yes, you saw this particular. Now it's 80. When I updated this, so they are currently developing also. They are setting up new AZs. So just now we saw that there are 80 availability zones and 25 geographical regions. So I have to update this slide, but you can always rely on the links which I pinged you. Okay, the same link, and then you can just see where all is the regions they have, and yeah, things like that. And has announced plans for 9 more availability zones and 3 more AWS regions. Yeah, so now 3 more AWS regions. So in Indonesia, Japan, and Spain. Yeah. So, and again, I got this taken the screenshot from one of those links as well. So 25 launched regions, and they have it, and 80 availability zones. They have it. Okay, for now, understand like that. They apart from this region and availability zones, they have something called edge locations as well. Edge locations. Edge locations. Very important. So third term I am introducing now, edge locations, and there's something called regional caches. Edge locations are like mini data centers. Okay. It is the purpose of edge locations are to deliver content, CDNs, content delivery network, we call it. So that's the main functionality of edge locations. So just know that apart from this regions and is AZs, they have this edge locations as well. So currently you can get the latest data list, but I am showing up that they have 217 points of presence. You can get the list, correct exact number from this list link here. And what do we mean by edge location? That's important. Suppose I am in Australia, okay, let's say, and I have my server, and I'm one of the customers in Australia, and I'm accessing the server which is there in the US. Let's say the server is hosted in the US, but I am in Australia. Okay. So and if I make a request, so the response will come from US all the time, right? And there could be media files, content, uh, things that I am expecting to get delivered, okay, as part of response. So if that is the case, what these edge locations are, if I'm making, they are smart enough to understand that there are users from Australia and they are accessing this website, and they have to download the content regularly. So what they can do, nearby Australia, they would have edge locations. Okay, edge location. You can see these blue dots. Blue dots are edge locations. Okay, blue ones. Uh, so in Australia, there are regions as well. You saw that there are regions as well. This is called the region in Australia, and in within that region, they have edge locations as well. You can see this here. And what they do, so they would download all those content files, content delivery, content in this edge location, so that when my users from Australia again try to access the same content, the response will not come from you all the way from US, the server which is hosted in the US, because it can be stored locally. Those content can be stored locally on those edge locations, and for this region, the customer, the user from the Australia would get a better performance, would get a better delivery. They would not feel that there is any lag in getting the response, or that because the media files, the content is comparatively higher in size, bigger in size. Okay, If I have the content stored locally, I can get those responses in a much more efficient manner in very less time. So I would feel that I have a better performance, right? So it is as good as that my server is in the Australia itself. It is not hosted in the US, because the higher the distance, more the latency. Just know this. It's always best if a customer in Australia is trying to access any content from the server which is hosted in the US. If the distance is more, obviously the distance is more, uh, there would be a lag. Okay, it will be a nanosecond, may not be visible to the eyes, but there will be a lag because the response has to come from this far. So for that sake, they have these edge locations locally, and what edge locations stored are used to, they store the content, okay, and so that the users get a better performance. Okay, so that's what these edge locations mean. So just know that edge locations are also like data centers, mini data centers, but with limited functionality. They are uh, AWS has built edge locations just to for the just to have to serve content delivery functions, and these are called CloudFront. Okay. If you go to this link, understanding is important. Why do we need edge locations? Okay, and then so what I was telling, that currently you can just see that there are regions as here. See this orange one is the region. Okay, I'm in Australia. This orange one is the region, but the blue dot is the edge location. So I have three edge locations. Why I maintain three edge locations? So that if suppose I am user in this part of Australia, okay, so I would like my edge locations to be located very near to me, so that I get a better performance. I get my content delivered to my website quickly, as quickly as possible, as fast as possible. Okay, so that's the main concept of these edge locations, and you can just see this is the region, and I have three edge locations here. Same thing goes for other as well. So for the North America, see, I have this orange are the regions, but these blue dots are the edge locations. If I have to just talk about edge locations, you can just see global edge locations. So yes, so Amazon CloudFront peers with thousands. You can just see this. Okay, uh, in North America. So just you can just imagine here that globally I'm showing here. Blue ones are edge locations. Uh, then these are the regional edge cases, multiple edge locations. So that's the main benefit. Okay, so of edge location, you can just read about these things. Okay, in detail. Okay. These are called CloudFront as well. CloudFront, content network and content delivery. And they are called points of presence as well. Edge locations are called points of presence, and the service is called CloudFront. Okay. You can also get this if you search for CloudFront. The service is called CloudFront. You can configure while configuring your architecture in cloud. You can come to this guy and you can configure CloudFront for your implementation cloud solution. Okay, and so that you get a better response. If you see that if the availability zones are located far from your location, then you can create these mini data centers, these edge locations. You can configure in your cloud solution so that you get a better uh, response, better performance. I'm going to talk about that sometime later, but I'm just focus on these three. They are called, either you call edge locations or points of presence. Both are same thing. And to get this, and CloudFront is the service. Either you search results. Okay, so you can just see this. Uh, Use CloudFront to serve a static website hosted on Amazon simple storage service. So you just see why they're using this CloudFront, and just create or learn more. And CloudFront, why we need to use this CloudFront. It's a fast content delivery network service that securely delivers data, videos, applications, and APIs to customers globally with low latency. That's the main idea. Low latency. Why am I configuring this? To get a better performance, high transfer speeds, all within a developer-friendly environment. So just read about this CloudFront. I'm going to paste this link in the chat window. So CloudFront, we call it. Just read about this, and you should understand why do we need this. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So coming to this, okay. So we have covered some part of the theory today. Let me just go and show you that how do we set up a billing module. Okay. We need to set up this billing module in our AWS account so that we get notified, okay, and you get notified if your exceeds your budget, okay, just for the sake that you should be aware, okay, you should get notification on your budget. And then second is, okay, IAM. So IAM is one of the, again, billing and IAM, again, both are two services in AWS, and IAM is required. We call it IAM users. Okay. So currently, this account, whatever you are logged in, this is a root account. Okay. Root account should be super safe. Okay. You should not be using your root account all the time. You can perform all your activities. There is no denying this fact. You can, but you should be always. You should ideally we should not use this root account. We should create IAM user, okay, identity and access management. So it's you can just get this IAM, we call it. So you need to create IAM user. So the idea of creating IAM user, like you can have various groups here, groups like administrators, group like developers, group like testers, group like DBAs. You can create groups, various groups here, group of admins. You can see that for my account, there is only one group, admin, and I'm the user. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create, you will not see this admin here, okay, because I have created this, but you need to create one group here, and then you need to create one users here. So you see that I'm the user and I'm the part of this group admin. So next time, once you create this IAM user, so next time what you do, you log in as the IAM user, so that your root account is super safe all the time. You don't. So root account is like your parent credentials. And suppose you own a company. So think like that. You own a company. You have created this AWS account for you, and then you're gonna add your team members. You own a company now, you want to create your team members, you're gonna provide access to your team members. So how would you do that? You will not give your root credentials to everyone, right? It's not secure. If you provide root credentials to everyone, anyone can play with this and can spoil your the entire work, right? So what you do, you create users and then you provide access to them. Okay, that's what the intention is here. Okay, before that, coming to this IAM, I'm gonna come to the billing section. Billing is again one of the services. So these services are, you can find these services in every cloud service provider. Name would change, but the basic functionality remains the same. We come to the billing. And what you can do, uh, you can create. So I have been billed some amount, okay, uh, because I have been playing with this. So I have built one account, but I'll be notified as well. Okay, I have used a lot of services here. Okay, so that's why I have been billed for some amount. And what you can do, you can create your budgets here, but you would not see anything. You would see these things zero because it's your first time. You would be doing it. You would get this thing zero zero. So what you do, you come to budgets first and create a budget. Okay, just click on create budget. Okay, and what you do, you create a cost budget. Okay, uh, and there are some other budgets also. You can set usage budget and reservation budget and savings plan budget. You use cost budget and set your budget. Okay, and then you can just write a name here, any name, uh, AWS uh, learning one, whatever, any name you can write. And period is, yeah, because one is AWS learning already exists, so I'm just giving one. You can just create like that. Period is monthly, yeah, that's fine. Recurring budget, yes. Start this time, that's fine. Fixed, yes. Specify your monthly budget fixed. Let me start with $1. Okay, you can start with $1. If you exceed one, so fix your, so it's about like how much your total budget. Suppose if you own a company, you would have some budget in your mind that you should not exceed this much. So let's give one number here, $1. Okay, and then what you can do here, you can select these options. Okay, uh, refunds, credit, whatever. You can give some options here. You can configure thresholds. So when you want to get yourself notified, okay. So when I'm 80%, when I'm 50%, okay, when I'm 50% of my budgeted amount, so zero point 0.5 cents here, okay, 50 cents, okay. If I cross this budget, so this amount could be anything, okay. You can fill in as per your thing, but I'm just showing the minimal option. So if you once you cross this, you can set your notifications. You can write your email here, and you will receive email here. Okay, okay. Once you do that, that's my email ID. You can contact me here if you like. Okay, so you can just create like that and confirm budget. That's it. So create, and you can just see that what all you have done starting from March 1. Budget is $1 and threshold is 50. So once I exceed this much, threshold is 50 cents, I would get one email notifications. And I have been receiving few emails. So that's what I have done for this account, for this billing. Uh, so this is the one you need to create this. You will not find this one. This I've already created some time back. I can delete this guy here, copy, edit, and whatever I can. But you need to create one budget so that you'll be notified. That's the main intention here. So that's the budget thing I would like to you to set this up with your account. So whoever has got the account, create a root account. In the root account itself, you have to do this, create your budget. And in the root account itself, then I'm going to talk about this IAM. Okay, IAM. That's the identity and access management. Okay. So you need to create users here, groups here. Okay. What you can do, first thing, okay. Hmm. Okay, let me just see. you can find this documentation. So this AWS has one beautiful thing that you can find all the details. So with every service, currently I'm showing up this IAM service. Okay, IAM service. With every service, you'll find a documentation. Okay, and there are few resources that if you are interested to understand, you can really go over these things and you can find the details. Okay, what is IAM? I'm going to talk about that, but I'm just telling you in general that if you really want to know something about any service, so they have this documentation. So AWS Identity and Access Management is a web service that helps you securely control access to AWS resource. That's what we are trying to do. We are trying to create IAM users so that everyone doesn't have this root account access. So helps you securely control access to AWS resources. And I can write permissions. What user I can assign a policy to a group, permission to a group. I can restrict access to the users. That's what I can do in using IAM. You use IAM to control who is authenticated and authorized to use the resources and to what level. So that is what IAM used for. So you can just go over these things. So they have, if you really want to dig deep into these things, you can find all the details. I'm going to talk about this MFA here. What you can do with your root account, you would like to get your MFA, enable MFA, multi-factor authentication. You need to download one app in your mobile. Okay, you need to download one Google Authenticator. Okay, there is an app called Google Authenticator. Please download that. If not tomorrow, next day I'm going to talk about that. Uh, Google Authenticator is one of the app. You can also download in Android for iOS anywhere. You can find in the Play Store as well in the App Store. Uh, Google Authenticator. Just download that, and if so, the idea is to secure your root account. Okay. For that, you need to enable this MFA, and these are the best practices they have given. And we should enable MFA is one of them. So what you can do here, okay, okay, looks like I need to create one account to show you that. Okay, so for this, I'm going to talk about this tomorrow. I'm going to create my own account. Okay, because it's already been used, so the options what you see will be different than this. Because I've already configured few things, so I'm going to create my one new account to show you that how do we set up this Google Authenticator and multi-factor authentication. Just for now, download this. That's what I need you to download. Maybe next session I'm going to talk about this. Download Google Authenticator. Anywhere you can get it in the iPhone or in Android. Anywhere you can get it. Just download this. Yeah, app. This is the symbol you would get once you download that, and you need to configure, you need to scan something, and if you, so it's like a multi-factor authentication. You will get a token. Okay, you will get a token, and if you're logging in as the root account, you need to use that token to get inside that. I'm going to talk about that in the next session. Okay. Okay, for now let me talk about this IAM. So why do we need to use IAM here? Mm. We have something called groups. We can create multiple groups. So currently you see that I have only one group. I can create another group like DBA. Okay, suppose DBAs. I can create a group like that, DBAs, and I can assign policies. So these are the permissions policy that what policy I would like to, Rafiq, it is like Okta. Uh, I'm not sure about Okta, Rafiq. So while I will the application ask if you have the root account created. Yeah, you will always, Anand, so you'll always log in as the root account. So this is the root account. So root account, yes. Okay, let me show you first. Let me down. Okay, let me clarify one thing. Okay, I'm going to sign out this. Okay, what happens when you first log in? That's the URL aws.amazon.com. As simple as that. You go to my account here and you click on AWS Management Console. Okay, and since I have already logged in, so I just let me sign out first. Okay, I just signed out. Okay, now I want to sign the console. So see, I'm getting the option here. So if I do not have the IAM user, so because I was talking about the IAM user, okay, to create IAM user, once you create IAM user, next time you need to log in as the IAM user, okay. But since you do not have the IAM user created, you need to always log in as the root user. So you have to provide your credentials here, okay, credentials of your root user. So you have to type in that, okay. For me, it would be okay. It should be like that. Yeah, that's my root username. I'm going to click on next. So see, it's asking for this security check. Okay, I'm going to type this 783X. So once I type, okay, there was just a mistake. Let me just check what is the problem. So my root account itself is wrong. This is my root account. You need to know this is nothing but your email ID we have used to log in. That's the root user email ID. Click on next and you type this 757. Okay, come on. 5WW. Okay, see, I need to write the password now. See, it's asking for the MFA code. So that's called double authentication. I have configured MFA for my root account. That's what I'm gonna tell you to next day. How do you? So for this, you need a app, Google Authenticator. So I'm looking. I've just opened my Google Authenticator app in my mobile, and I see a 6-digit token number getting generated. I have to put in that detail here. Okay, I have to that. Then only it will be constantly changing. Okay, it will not be the constant number. So I'm just typing that 463, and once I do that, I logged in as the root account. So that's called multi-factor authentication. I have to for the root account, I have my user password as, and then I have this MFA. I have this Google Authenticator token. So I have these two layers of authentication, and then only I'm logging as my root account. So that's important to do that to keep your root account secure. But once you use your root account, so I just need to create one IAM user. So what I'm going to tell you that I'm going to create one IAM user, and from next time I'm not going to log in as the root account. I'm going to log in as the IAM user only. I'm going to select the second option. Okay. So there's something called groups here, and there's something called user. There's something called policies. Okay. So what happens that what is the relation here? So you add policy to the group. Okay. Depends on the groups. So that currently my only one group I have admins. Okay. Only one group I have. In this admin, I have only one user added. Okay. And if you look at the permissions, I have given the administrator access permission. So not everyone in your organization will have this administrator access. Because I am the user here, I have given myself administrator access. Okay. If I have another group like DBAs, so I would not give them administrator access. I may be smart enough and I can just see if there is any database related hmm, database administrator. So there are a few standard policies name. I'm going to select this guy, a database administrator. I'm going to give this access to this group, DBA's group. Okay. Next step. Then what I can do, I can create this group. Okay, perfect. I have created the group. I have not added any user as of now. You can see that user count is 0. But if you go inside, you will see that policy I have given database administrator. And then what I can do, I can add users. I can create users first. I'm going to add user. I can write any name in my, if a person is there, that let's name with Sham. Sham, any name. Okay, so that's the username. Okay, and I would like to access type programmatic and management console access. So yes, so I need to, there are two ways I have to provide access to this to Sham. Okay. Select how these users will access AWS, access keys and automatic general. So I'm going to use ask them to use go to the console, log into the console. There are other ways I can programmatic access, but I'm going to give Sham AWS management console access, but with restriction. Only the database administrator only. I can give a custom password, or I can auto generate a password. Okay. uh, and with when he will log in as the first time, Sham, okay, he will be asked to change this password. Okay, so that's it. And I can add multiple users as well. That's fine. I'm going to next permissions, and I'm going to assign this group to Sham DBAs. Okay. Next tag, I can skip this part and I can just create user. Okay, so I created this user, and that's the credentials Sham needs to use. I can directly, if I have to download this CSV, okay, but this will have the Sham credentials, and this Sham should only know this is the like temporary password. He has to log in first as the Sham, okay, and then he will be giving this temporary password, and he'll be asked to change the password, and that's the URL he has to access. Okay. So once I do that, he will be selecting IAM user, not the root user, and he'll be giving this IAM name. Okay, and that's the his temporary password. Okay, that's how he will access the entire thing. Okay, so that's we call IAM user. Okay, yeah. And then so I hope you understood this group user. So now in the user you can see that I have two user here. I just added Sham, and I've added this to DBA group, and for the group I have a permission. So I restricted the permission to Sham. Sham doesn't have the administrator access that how Roshan does, right? He has just the administrator access, so he can only uh, do something with the database. So policy. So if you want to really look inside what all he can do, that's all he can do. Uh, it's, he can he has the cloud watch, he can delete the alarms, he can describe. So these many things he can do under this database administrator. So that's how we do. So what we do now, we're going to create, everyone will create this admin user. Okay. So create a new group, you guys, and do admin to, like, as since I already have this admin. So, and you create next step, and you give this administrator access to this. You guys need to do that. Administrator access, and you create and this account. Okay, I'm going to create this group now. And what you do, so you have this group created, and in this group you have this administrator access. So what you need to do, you need to create yourself. You create one user of your name. I have created this 40 days, 48 days ago. Okay, that's fine. Okay. You can create one user. You know how to create this. You can just write your name, any name. You can write your name here, ABC, your name, and you can give this AWS management. You can also write directly the password if you'd like to directly. You can also do anything, but for obviously for someone else, you'd like to give auto-generated password, because and you'd ask them to change this password. Anyway, if you select that, anyway, if you write this anything, uh, you will be you will be asked to change that. Okay, so you can be auto-generated, and you will need to click this. So user must create a new password in next login. So you will be asked to do that. You can next permissions. You can add yourself to this group, the admin group, and next tag. You can anything. It's optional feature, just the name of it. So you can just review it and create user. Okay. So what happens? You need to download this guy. Okay. Download this guy and don't show this to anyone. Okay, this has to be kept securely, because that's your user credentials. Okay, and then you need to log in as this. I'm going to show this again. I'm going to create my new account, but you should do this. Okay, on your own. Weekend is coming, so you have the time to do that. So log in as that and create the IAM user this time. Don't select the root user, and you try to log in as the IAM user. Okay. Uh, so now give this login as the IAM user. So you can write ABC. Okay. You can write the password this temporary password, and account ID is this. Okay. Okay. Let me just see. I'm going to show you what this account ID mean. Okay. Uh, Account ID is this. If you go to the dashboard, you will get a number here. Okay, a randomly number account number. You can mask that number. Okay? And you can write your own customized alias for the account number. So that's the account number. Once you log into the IAM, okay, you will get the same URL, but you will get only for this part, where you're seeing Rawson 8586 AWS2. Only for this part you will see a number. That's your account number. So you need not show this to anyone. You can what you can do, you can edit this, and you can edit with any name. Okay. I have customized this uh, with my preferred alias for the account number. So that's why I am logging as this here. Okay, and all the details are in this. So once you log in, you need to give this same account number. You have to give your username and password, and you sign in. That's it. You don't need. Then you will be logging as the uh, ABC. I have not used, right. So Roshan is my user. I have given a password. That's the password. Yeah. See, I'm logging as the Roshan user now. Roshan at the rate of this. So now I log in as the IAM user, and now I'm going to practice everything. So my root account is safe. The intention is to keep the root account safe and to use the IAM user. I hope everyone understood this, right? Can Are we okay with this flow? Or I'm going to create a new account next session. I'm going to do these things again with you, but you can do it. I think you have enough information now. Are we good here, everyone? Can I get some acknowledgement, please?
Yes.
Okay, good to know, Rafiq.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Are we, I just have one more question. Are we meeting tomorrow?
No, tomorrow is weekend. We don't.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
meet on.
So we meet again on Sunday, our time, right?
Yes, Sunday your time. Yes,
Okay.
Sunday night. If you are in US,
Oh,
Rafiq. Yes.
yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, then it's your Sunday night. Yes, and my
Okay.
Monday 7:30 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
IST.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, sure. And I'm gonna create my new account. I'm going to create and I'm going to demonstrate this again. But easy to do that. Okay. I hope you guys understood. And again, I'm gonna repeat this uh, IAM and billing, and we'll start from where we left off. So we have started with the cloud journey. We have understood the words, what this AWS mean, region mean. What do we mean by region? What do we mean by AZ? What do we mean by CloudFront? What do we mean by points of presence? So we have been talking about these basic things, and we're gonna dive now. We're gonna understand each and everything in upcoming sessions. Okay, we're gonna start the real work. Okay. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining. We'll meet on a Monday, 7:30 IST. Thank you. I'm going to stop the recording.
Prashant.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, I just asked a question. I want you to answer this question for me. So the way I see here, the AWS Management Console, is it just like the way you operate the Admin Management Console, Administration Management Console, wherein you create machines and create groups for those machines and give policies to those machines?
Okay. Okay, Hassan. Yes, I see your question. So yes,
Yeah.
see, Hassan, the point is, we have this AWS account, okay, and whatever we do in AWS, we have to do through console. Okay. So
Yeah.
what I did just now, I showed you two things. I showed you how to do a billing setup and how to create. That's
Yeah.
what I just told you, Hassan.
Yep.
So how to do a billing setup and how to create an IAM user. So now I have logged in as the IAM user and I have the billing setup. So I'll be notified. That's it. And then I'm going to start creating AWS instances here, EC2 instances, database instances. I can create anything here. Okay. So that's the main work. So yes. So that's the console, and we're going to create environment, we're going to create application, we're going to create load balancer, we're going to understand how do we set up networking, we're going to create auto scaling group, we're going to create Kubernetes cluster, we're going to create containers. That's what we're going to do in this.
Okay, so I have another question.
Sure.
Is it possible to create provision the same instances of an application in different regions?
Yes, we can do that. We just need to select the region accordingly. Suppose if you intend to create a region in Africa, Cape Town, or in US West here in this region. So you just need to select this region. And once you select this region, automatically your console will show that you have shifted to that region and you can create the instances in that region. Yes.
Okay.
Mostly what I will do, since I'm in India, I will select Mumbai region because Mumbai region is nearest to me. Okay. Uh, just for the simple,
Yeah,
I can
that's
create anywhere. I can create anywhere. Okay. And I'm gonna create my all my EC2 instances and everything. I'm gonna install my web server. I'm going to demonstrate everything being in Mumbai. But it doesn't it's not like I have to be only in Mumbai. I can be anywhere. It's all the internet world. We are connected through internet. So we don't have any issues. Only for the since the distance is near to Mumbai, to get a better performance, I just select that. But it is like not visible to our eyes. So I can go ahead and select my create instance in the Sydney region. So that is not a problem. Anywhere I can create instances.
Okay.
Okay.
So
That's fine.
you were talking about groups, right?
Yeah.
Um, are you referring to those people who actually access the application from the instances?
Right. Groups means in your organization you have different teams, developer,
Okay. Yeah.
testers, DBAs,
Mhm.
those guys I'm talking about. Then what you can do, because you own the AWS account, you would like to
Yeah.
provide them access, but don't like to provide them all everyone as administrator access, right? So
Yeah.
for that sake, you can create multiple groups and you can assign different policies to those groups and you can add users accordingly.
Okay.
Are we good, Hassan?
Yes, we're good. Thank you.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you everyone for joining. We'll connect again on Monday. Thank you.